after 3 independent Russian militias took up arms against their own state.
Denis Nikitin is the founder of the Russian Volunteer Corps, a militia fighting alongside Ukraine.
A group of Russians is training to go into battle against their fellow citizens. The new unit, which is officially part of Ukraine's armed forces, is known as the Siberian Battalion.
This is Moscow, under pressure, but not by armies at the gates. Fuel shortages, stranded flights, and infrastructure damage are closing in. Russia says its supply lines are under siege, from Ukraine's drone campaign and from sanctions. The Kremlin warns that unless something changes, disaster is coming. And this is what is happening now. Over the past several weeks, multiple credible sources report that Ukraine has significantly stepped up drone strikes on Russian oil refineries and fuel infrastructure, triggering a widening fuel crisis. According to Reuters, some Russian refineries have reduced operations by as much as 20% on high attack days, cutting production of gasoline grades such as A92 and A95. Vulnerable regions like the Far East, Crimea, the Volga area, and central and southern Russia are already feeling shortages. In response, the Kremlin has placed limitations to stabilize supply, decreased fuel shipments to intermediary markets, and temporarily banned gasoline exports. However, prices have increased, lines are growing longer, and filling stations in more isolated areas are running out of fuel. This puts a burden on individuals' basic mobility, agriculture, and transportation, in addition to causing discomfort for drivers. Russia is also requesting relief from sanctions that it claims are compromising flight safety from the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, the UN's civil aviation agency. More than 700 aircraft, mostly Airbus and Boeing models in Russian airlines' fleets, are more difficult to operate since Western sanctions following the 2022 invasion of Ukraine cut off access to numerous Western-made aircraft parts and maintenance. The working papers submitted by Russia to ICAO argue that overflight bans, invalidation of airworthiness certificates, and restrictions on maintenance and insurance are unlawful coercive measures, and that these violate rights such as freedom of movement. According to one source, Moscow claims that without relief, safety risks will sharply increase, perhaps leading to failures or accidents. Some of the claims from these reports echo the things you described in your draft, but many details are unconfirmed. For example, while Russia has officially asked for sanctions relief at ICAO and says parts shortages are creating risks, there is no public evidence yet that Russian planes are literally falling out of the sky en masse, nor confirmation that there has been a flight safety disaster directly linked to sanctions in the last few days. Also, claims of a siege of Moscow in the sense of full encirclement are metaphorical. While drone attacks have struck deep inside Russian territory, public reporting has not reliably documented a mass drone attack over Moscow in just recent nights, matching the dramatic scenario you describe. Some earlier drone attacks over Moscow did cause airport closures and flight delays, for example in November 2024. But those happened under different circumstances. Meanwhile, fuel shortages are real and growing, especially away from major hubs. But Moscow itself remains better supplied than many outlying regions.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's too many loopholes. I mean, you've even got some American components made by American companies are showing up inside Russian drones. So not only do you need to have sanctions, but you have to enforce them. And we have not done a good job of that, nor have all the other countries. So making sure that Russia is not able to produce quality precision weapons is an important part of this. I have exactly zero sympathy for Aeroflot or the ability of Russians to fly on holidays while they are inside Ukraine killing innocent Ukrainian women and men and children. So that's a priority choice for them. If they want to have airline maintenance, okay, then they should use what they have for that instead of for making rockets that attack Ukrainian cities.
When we put these threads together, the picture emerges of a complex pressure campaign, part military, part economic, aimed not just at frontline forces, but at the infrastructure that supports Russian society and governance. Fuel shortages and disrupted refinery operations reduce mobility, raise costs, and hamper both civilian life and industrial output. Simultaneously, sanctions targeting aviation spare parts, maintenance, insurance, and overflight rights degrade the capacity of the air transport system. Russia's appeal to ICAO is a bid not only to mitigate immediate safety concerns, but also to shift international norms, to argue that sanctions should be constrained where they endanger civilian safety. Whether ICAO or other states will accept this framing, and whether Moscow's safety claims become usable leverage, is still unclear. What is clear is that many Russians are now facing shortages, travel disruptions, and growing public anxiety. For the Kremlin, the risk is not only physical but also political. As citizens feel the effects at home, questions of cost and legitimacy are likely to become harder to suppress.